welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Taylor Ray. I am with Compass, which is so exciting, and I am with the Collective group, which is a awesome team. The Compass thing is so new. This is literally what I was working on last night. I know. Backstory, Compass was like a dream firm to join, and I made it happen, and I could not be freaking happier about it. So let's get into the video. This is the most asked questions that I have received about life in LA on a variety of my videos. Okay, question number 1. I live in the UK and I want to move to LA. Is it worth it? Well, great question, Gareth. Is it worth it? Absolutely. I feel like even if you don't end up loving LA, it is certainly worth it because it's a new life experience, and experiences that help you grow and thicken up your skin a little bit and kind of change your perspective on life are literally priceless. So, you know, I don't know anything about moving to a different country. I've never done that, but I felt that moving from Washington to LA and spending nearly 6 years there was very worth it. Angel. Okay, next question. Hi, I just want to ask this too. Do you think it's going to be easy for someone who just moved in downtown LA to find friends? And is the nightlife fun there? So I think it's really easy to meet people in LA, not just downtown specifically, but just people in general. They have a great social scene. So I think it's very easy to meet people. Is it easy to meet and make friends? That's kind of a different story, to be honest with you. So I had a lot of very casual friendships, and that's okay. I think what I learned during part of my journey in LA was that I don't need to be friends with everybody, and not everybody needs to be my best friend. And I kind of took that to here in Seattle. And so I have a lot of like going out friends where it's like dinners or happy hours or just fun things to do, especially in the summertime out here. And that's it. They don't need to be anything more than that, you know, because I already have my besties, and I'm open to other best friends, don't get me wrong, but it is very easy to meet social friends. To meet, you know, friends for life, that's kind of a different story. And then is the nightlife fun there? In downtown specific, yeah, I mean everywhere in LA. I'm not a huge nightlife person, but there are rooftop bars in downtown. There's at least one speakeasy that I know of, probably multiple. Yeah, I never felt like unsafe walking around at night because it felt like there was always something going on. Again, this was pre-COVID though. So nightlife nowadays, it may be different. I hope that answers your question. Okay, next question. The job I will be applying is in downtown LA. Let's say I don't want to live in the city, but near it. Where should I live? Great question. Some of the surrounding neighborhoods, Echo Park, Silver Lake, love them. I think that those would be my personal recommendations. Glendale is fairly close. Los Feliz is fairly close. Eagle Rock is fairly close. Hollywood is like nearish. Ooh, another one would be Koreatown, actually, now that I think about it. K-Town is, it feels like a next door neighbor, honestly. I never lived in K-Town, but I have a really good girlfriend who lives there and has lived there like the whole time she's lived in LA, which is like 7 years now. So yeah, I think that, I think that those would, pleasures of living in the city. Silver Lake Echo Park would be my recommendation. K-Town would be another, like a close, I don't have as much experience in that neighborhood, but I know of people personally that have had great experiences, and it's very, very close. And then the outliers are more like Hollywood, Los Feliz, Glendale. Okay, great. Do you think living in downtown LA was a mistake? I'm considering moving there, but don't want to be too far from people in central LA, then get isolated. I do plan to bring a car. Another great question. No, downtown was not a mistake. Honestly, none of the areas I lived in was a mistake. So first of all, no mistakes living in downtown. But the isolation is a really great question. I did feel a little isolated there because I didn't really have, I had like maybe one friend that lived in downtown and another friend that lived in K-Town. So it was hard to get people to come and visit, but I also didn't have a car. So the fact that this person who's asking is bringing a car will be very helpful. and will probably make you feel less isolated. So yeah, I think having the car is going to help alleviate feeling isolated, but full transparency, absolutely, there was a little bit of isolation. Those feelings were definitely prevalent at one point or another, just because I didn't have a ton of friends that actually lived in the area. But you know, some people are fascinated by downtown. They don't want to live in downtown, but they want to have an excuse to visit. And I threw a few parties with one of my roommates, like prior to the pandemic, obviously. It did give people a great excuse to come to the city, and I think people really appreciated that. Promise it's the same exact day. Just wanted to take my sweater off. So glad I found this video. I'm moving to downtown LA this summer for an internship, but I'm not from a big city and I'm getting super overwhelmed thinking about it all. I probably won't take my car, so I liked that you mentioned public transportation, but do you have any tips for figuring out how to use it for first timers? Did you feel safe using it? Thank you for sharing. By the way, guys, I respond to all of these like in the comments. I'm just trying to do a video to make it easier for people that don't go through and read video comments. So to answer your first question, Paige, for first timers, honestly, I just really relied heavily on my Google, like Google Maps or Apple Maps, whatever it is on my phone, because it tells you everything you need to know about the buses and the trains. And then over time, I got very used to the trains, the direction, the stops, you know, from doing it. I started to memorize those things. The buses, similarly. So I would really just start there. I know it's probably not a helpful answer, but that's what I did. And did I feel safe using it? Absolutely. Never had any issues, never felt unsafe. Again, I'm not a nightlife person, so it's not like I'm really riding the train very late or very early for that matter. If I ever felt unsafe, I would honestly just get off. Might be a dumb question. It's not. But just out of curiosity, does the chances of running into celebs or filming sets get higher if you live in downtown LA? Also, thanks for the vid. It was definitely informative. In downtown, I'm not gonna lie, there actually is quite a bit of filming in downtown. I remember when I lived in the historic core, I saw a couple of sets. In terms of celebrities, I would say no for me. I never ran into a celebrity in downtown. Anytime I had a sighting was like Santa Monica, Malibu, I almost called it West Seattle, West Hollywood. That's where, well, Los Feliz, but again, that's not downtown. So I would say yes for finding sets, no for run-ins, but anything is possible. Thank you for your question. Another question, how safe is it there? Did you live near Skid Row? Is there an area of downtown LA where homeless crime is low? Yes, one of the years I lived near Skid Row, like the back of my building was basically Skid Row. Can't say for sure where homeless crime is low. You know, at the end of the day, crime is everywhere. Crime was in Beverly Hills. I had the Citizen app and there was crime happening all around me from what I learned. So overall, to answer your question, how safe is it there? All I can say is I felt safe. Yeah, I don't think that there was ever a time I didn't feel safe in downtown while I lived there and when I visited there. So, hi guys, long time no see. It has been like 3 months since I've shot this video and I have finally had time to sit down and edit it. So I'm really excited to upload again and hopefully make it consistent once again. Life has been crazy and there were a few more questions that came through that I wanted to answer really quick. And also just wanted to kind of preface this video. I know it's at the end of it, but really just overall preface my LA videos in general. And that's kind of also what inspired this, was one of the questions I got. It talks about their salary and if I think they would be able to survive in that neighborhood with that salary. And so I'll go into it in a minute, but what I want to say is that all of these videos are about life in LA prior to the pandemic. So I've started labeling my videos now so that everybody knows this is pre-COVID, and it has to be taken with a grain of salt because now what we've seen happen is a ton of inflation in all different industries. Gas prices have shot up, which is part of the question that this person had. So it's just not the same anymore, unfortunately. And though I can speak on my experiences prior, I don't know about homeless encampments all over North Hollywood anymore because I'm not there. And even if I was still there, I didn't live there when that was such a thing, right? So I can only talk about what life was like when I lived there, and I lived there before the pandemic. So take it all with a grain of salt. I still hope it is insightful, but in terms of rent prices especially, like all of that is probably certainly not the same anymore. I don't know though. Okay, so the question that I was just referencing is, would you say I need a car living there? If so, can I afford living there with 50 to 60K salary with roommates, gas, and insurance? How is the public transit there, and is it safe? So I did not have a car there. I had a car for my first year. I've talked about this in other videos. You can get by without one, but I highly recommend that you have one. So I can't really speak on gas because it was just literally so many years ago. 2016 was the last time I had a car in LA. As for your salary, which is what I was trying to touch on prior to answering this question, I always lived in LA making between 50 and 65K, sometimes less than that. And I did fine. But again, things have changed so much in the world that I don't know anymore. Like, I literally can't speak on it. So I would like to say, yeah, you'll be fine 50 to 60K a year. Like, that seems fine to me, but with all of the inflation that has happened, I just don't know anymore, sadly. I really don't. And then with roommates, you know, I had roommates sometimes I lived alone. So again, I always did fine, and I would think you would be fine on that salary, especially if you have roommates, but I don't know anymore. Like, I hate saying that. And then insurance. I was always on my mom's insurance when I lived in LA. So it was like, I got insurance right before I moved to Seattle because I was no longer eligible to be on her plan. So unfortunately, I can't even factor in insurance in this answer because I wasn't responsible for paying it until more recently. And then public transit, I've talked about it a lot in the video and other videos already. Yeah, the public transportation in North Hollywood is great. There's a train station there, and it's the last stop on the red line and the purple line, I believe. So yeah, you can get to quite a few neighborhoods just on the train, and then there's bus stops everywhere as well in that neighborhood specifically. So I would say for NoHo, great public transit. And then is it safe? Again, we've talked about this already in this video, so I won't go into that too much, but I always felt safe on the public transportation during my time in LA. So my opinion, yes, it is safe, but that was just my experience. So I hope this was helpful. And then the last two questions that I got are kind of the same thing, so I'm just gonna answer these together. Question, where do you live now or when you were shooting this YouTube video, and why did you move out of downtown LA? And then why did you leave downtown LA for Beverly Hills? So these were both on my pros and cons of living in downtown Los Angeles video, and I may have answered this somewhere else, but just for the sake of the video, I live in Seattle now. When I shot the video though, I was living in Beverly Hills, and I left downtown LA because I actually got really lucky. My lease was up in May of 2020, so I actually started moving out in April. I had a friend that I stayed with in Beverly Hills, which is why I went to that neighborhood. And then I spent 8 months in Beverly Hills just trying to figure out what am I going to do next. I was meant to move to New York before the pandemic got very serious. So in March 2020, I was in Brooklyn looking at apartments and solidifying a job, and when I came home is when we went on lockdown. So that obviously didn't end up happening, but I say that bit because I was already going to leave LA. I just wasn't planning on coming to Seattle. That was a decision that I made while I was living in Beverly Hills. So that is, yeah, why did I leave downtown LA for Beverly Hills? I had a friend that was living there that had space for me. I got very fortunate, like I said, and didn't have, I mean, I can't imagine the people that signed a lease right before the pandemic. Like, honestly cannot imagine it. So I feel very fortunate with my timing, and that is essentially why I left downtown. That is why I left Beverly Hills, and now here we are. So that really wraps up the journey. And also, I don't know why I was being so weird about Compass in the beginning of this video, so I'm sorry if that was misleading. I'm a buyer's agent at Compass on a team, and I think I was just honestly full of adrenaline. It was like the first day that I started shadowing my mentors, and I was just full of energy, and I was really excited about it. So yeah, of course, if you want to talk about home buying or selling, whether it's investment properties or your first home or your second home, I'm here for you in the Seattle market. And last but not least, I said, okay, next time that I upload a video, I want to shout out this person that I met. So gosh, I don't even know, maybe 2 months ago, I went to a dive bar in Eastlake, caught up with an old coworker, and when we were getting up to leave, this person, Nicole, you're probably not watching this because why would you watch this video about LA, stopped me and said she watches my YouTube videos, and it made my whole night and obviously my whole life, because here I am talking about it 2 months later. So thank you, Nicole, for taking the time to just stop me and tell me that you watch my videos, and thank you for watching my videos, and thank you for being you. That was really awesome, so thank you. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. I have one more LA video. If you want to continue watching LA content though, feel free to check out the playlist I created and catch up on all the stuff that I shot when I was living there. But otherwise, we have one more LA video to go, and then pretty much just going to transfer over to Seattle-based content here soon. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.